evening, cyberspace. Welcome to Squatch-D TV for today's date, August 25th, 2019. I am your host, your guide, the Squatch Detective, Steve Kulls, along with my faithful Bluetooth co-host, Mr. Chris Bennett. How you doing tonight, Chris?
Oh, we're doing good, Steve. I think we got everything working. We'll see. We probably have it here and there, but we're connected. How's everything been going in New York?
Yes, we are. Things have been going great, and I just want to welcome our new listeners that can now listen to. Get this, Chris, because this is something we were working out, technical issues. I didn't get to tell you this, but if you look at that graphic, we are now streaming on SquatchDTV.com, SquatchDetective.com, Facebook.com, my personal page at Steve.Kulls, Facebook.com at SquatchDTV, Facebook.com at Squatch Detective, YouTube, and Twitter. And guess what? I've just checked all the feeds, and it was so nice. I had it on Squatch-D TV to see if it would come up, and sure enough, we are broadcasting on the live on the web as well. So,
good deal. Cool.
Yeah, so we are all over the place today.
Yeah,
and,
I like that YouTube
so put that graphic up there, as you can see.
Yeah.
And as you can see, we have avatars now, which is awesome. And you know, if we don't have to always show the webcam, now we can just use our avatars, because now I can sit here back in the nude like I did for Squatch Detective Radio.
Yeah. Well, you know, the back situation, I don't think everybody wants to see me laying down in a recliner anyway, halfway through. No. It worked out for the best.
Yes, it sure did. And I'm just tickled to death how all of this is working. It's working well. So of course, as we do it at every show, we want to say hello to B, or hello B, and of course,
B.
And we got B over at YouTube. We got Pat Cassidy over there at Facebook.
Yeah.
We got Aaron over there. Hello, Aaron. Mike Ann, hello. He's watching via YouTube. So they're all saying hello. Yep. So we are all here and going on. So hello, folks, wherever you're watching, and we have a heck of a show on for you tonight. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, Chris, which is really exciting. I don't know where to start. We do have some public service announcements, which we are going to talk about in a little bit. But this whole thing is they just did a major upgrade to the show, and there it is. I can now blast that full screen for everybody to watch. But I don't know where to start tonight. We got so much going on. So now I want.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I really did enjoy last week's show, and that's gonna be tough to beat, because I've got a lot of feedback on that. A lot of people like that show, and me as well. That's one of my favorite. I tell you what, I believe that's one of my favorites. One of the top 5 shows that we've done.
I know, and it was just, and what I like about this format is that you know, again, we can talk with our folks in the into the chat, and they can just talk with us. As far as the Twitter folks, I don't think Twitter is coming through on comments, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. Somebody is watching on Twitter. We have 1 like already on Twitter, so I don't know.
Hi.
Again, we want to say hi to Mr. Celtic #1, and of course, Cryptidville. Hello, Cryptidville. Welcome aboard, guys. Glad to see you're all aboard. We're going to have a great time tonight. We have a lot going on. We have some articles we're going to go over. Let me just we have a hoaxer to expose tonight, which but we
enjoy that.
Yep. So we have an article by a skeptic, which puts a bad Patterson fact. We talked about the Patterson-Gimlin film yesterday, or last week, and again another Patterson comment that's wrong. We have another discussion. We're going to talk about the quote-unquote best Bigfoot video ever, which came from the Florida Everglades, and from a parlay of a skunk ape. And I actually wrote skink ape because I kind of my typing today on the file name. And of course, we have the skink ape.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a combination of a skink and an ape. I don't know. So, and we have another article by John Zeta, a Canadian journalist, who is going to talk about his search for Sasquatch. Now, he's not going to be on the show. We're going to look at his article, and we're going to be dissecting that a little bit. So what I love about this is we can look at some web pages and dissect them. And hello to Jamie. Hello out there. So Jamie just came on.
Jamie, yeah. Yep.
So we got a lot plugging away today. So I don't know where to start. Where do you want to start, Chris? You want to start talking about?
Oh man, I don't know.
Oh well, I know where to start. Let's take a look at this very interesting video, all for laughs. Here we go. So somebody got a Chewy.com delivery. As you can see, the bear sampled the one box. And now he's taken off with the other box. There he goes. He's going to drag that right off into the woods with it. There he goes.
Oh, no. He's already ate one. Yeah, that one. He's already opened it up and ate all the crap in there. Look. He took the other one. Oh, my God.
That was pretty.
That's so funny.
We can watch that one again. I mean, there he is.
Well, I guess if you live in a rural area and you've been missing packages, that's just a good way to catch them. Is that one of those Ring doorbells or something?
Yep. No, I have no idea. They must have had a security camera up there or something. Yeah. Well, I bet you they were having that happen. It was probably. Yeah.
Oh, man. Poor bear.
Poor bear.
Well, I guess he got busted, but I guess he got full though. Oh man,
that is some good stuff there.
That is actually that's a good place too. That Chewy Dom deal. Yeah, my wife orders dog food and stuff from there all the time.
Yes, the following segment was brought to you by Chewy.com.
Yeah, they should sponsor.
Yeah, even bears like our crap.
Yeah, that's a new advertising slogan.
But,
man,
yeah,
that's
I
funny,
caught
though.
that. I said I gotta put that out there today.
That's good. Yeah, I hadn't seen that. I'm you put that up there, Steve. That's good. Boo Boo moved up from picnic baskets to Chewy.com deliveries.
That's right. Chewy.com, not just for dogs. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, come on, folks out there, throw us your favorite Chewy slogan off that video today. That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, very interesting week. It started off with this guy that had posted some pictures, and unbeknownst to me, he actually friended me. Of course, 99% of the time, I accept friend requests because of who I am. I mean, I've been on TV, so people that want to follow me, I let them follow me.
Sure.
And apparently this guy was on my friends list, and I actually caught something in his feed. It was Chewy except for the cardboard.
That's a good one.
Oh, well, here it is. Chewy.com. It's unbearable.
Man.
And hello to, remember good old Fultz. He's back. But this time he's back on Facebook.
What's going on, man?
What's up, brother?
Facebook link.
Chewy, it's a bare necessity.
Bare necessity.
All right, I think I've bared all the Chewy.com slogans for now.
Yeah.
Well, anywho, so getting back to our story about this gentleman, and we're going to name names here, so don't worry about this. Because when we deal with hoaxers, we name names. We're not afraid to.
Yeah.
We have the proof is in the pudding, as it says. So So anyway, this guy posted some pictures of some tracks, and I'm watching the discussion, and somebody posted that, hey, you know what? This was already on the web. So, you know, I'm going to play the video and let everybody see, and y'all understand where we're coming from. So, here goes. This week's hoax alert goes to the crypto man, Raymond Vergara. The crypto man or the crypto ma'am? That's what it says here, anyway. Well, this past week, Ray posted these pictures and claimed them as his own footprints found while doing research. Now, Ray has been around since about 2013. And as you can see, he's talking about these prints being his. Of course, somebody turned around and said that they weren't his. And this was his response. So, a person on Facebook asked for the originals, and he got this response, basically saying nothing. And he's saying how he's tired of people stealing his pictures. Why will he need the pictures? Because to validate your claim, you moron. See, somebody Googled the image, and it came back to this blog post from 2015, where a man from Illinois took a picture of this footprint. And yes, it was first reported to the BFRO, and Stan Courtney, the great Stan Courtney, investigated it. It's report 55144 on the BFRO database. And now, here is the picture, the original picture, downloaded from Stan Courtney's Google Drive. So what does the Squatch detective do? He finds another post with more prints. This one from June 30th, and they look sneakingly familiar. Again, he's saying it's his found in Texas. And the one print looked familiar to me. Why? Because it was found in New York State. I remember this. And I reached out to the researcher, Gail Beatty, who confirmed it was taken on March 13th, 2013. Snagged again. As for the other one, you guessed it. Fox, Carolina, March 16th, 2018. So I reach out to the guy, and now he's a thief, claiming the original property owners stole from him. What follows is a sad attempt at misdirection, lies, and hypocrisy, as you can see by the following exchange. The one thing he seems obsessed about is Rick Dyer, always mentioning Rick, trying to say, I was only popular when I was fighting with Rick. But yet, he makes a post telling me to post it and make him popular too. Well, if I'm not popular, how's that? But here comes the lie. I never believed anyone. So anyway, I kept trying to have him reference the YouTube videos he said they were ripped off of. But every time I tried, he misdirected. Not successfully, as I kept him on task. It's very obvious he's misdirecting because he has no evidence to offer. None whatsoever.
All of a sudden you see this figure walking, and a lot of people say, well, it's just it was just probably Rick in a costume or something. I was like, man, how can you be at two places at once? I know we didn't hire no
really?
Homeless people.
How did you know?
They would just stole the money and kept it, and that would have been it. They wouldn't have done anything.
That breaks the case right
really
there.
think that he shot a Bigfoot. I really think there was something out there. I really believe in that. I honestly do believe in it.
You're going to stick with that statement because you're going to get ridicule for that statement. I'm going to tell you that. People,
I seen your tent video, Rick, and that's not fake. That's real. That's real. I mean, I've gone through, you know, I've actually downloaded it and, you know, gone through different stages, and I've seen the way the eyes blink and the way the bone cheeks move and everything.
Well, there's only one set of cheeks moving here, folks.
I really think that.
I appreciate you being on the show, man, and thank you so much. I hope you start a blog, man, because if you start a blog, I will pay to promote it. I'll tell you that.
Thank you, Rick. I'll see. Maybe I'll get back with you and we'll discuss something about a blog or something. I don't know.
I think a better term is not crypto man or crypto ma'am. It's the crapto man. And there you have it, obviously.
Oh, man. Oh, dude. Downloading pictures from the internet and posting them as his own. That's pretty bad.
That's the lowest of the lowest. And, okay. We bust hoaxers, but when you have to steal other people's stuff and claim it as your own, that's the lowest of the low right there. And, to go out there and that's right. Reverse image search is your friend, Al.
That's right.
and Patrick wrote El Crapo. You heard of El Chapo?
I agree. I agree, Patrick. Yeah. Oh man,
that's awesome. I love our commenters because they have been really it's when I love this format. I can't say it enough because we can have conversations with our folks as they're doing stuff, which is awesome. So
well, see those guys that do those things like download pics from the internet and post them and stuff, they can get away with it a lot of times because they're posting to the gullible. A lot of people are just, oh wow, they're tempted to believe them, rather than being skeptical about it. And that's the bad thing because.
Chris, did I lose you?
Oh, I'm still here, man. Can you hear me? But yeah.
Okay, yeah. You went through. I think you went through a black hole there.
Okay. Only the squirrel on the internet.
Yeah, you went dark like El Crapo's ethics.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the very I mean, just to show everybody. Here is, this is the actual page right here. And as you can see, we're scrolling down. I mean, it's a whole article on Gail Beatty's group from the Hudson Valley.
And
there's the picture he posted on that one post.
I remember that track. So, that's a very memorable track and where it came from.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So this was his post right there. And as you can see,
there
whoops.
It is. Yeah.
Whoops. So.
Yeah, you can match up the little leaves and the rocks perfectly. It's the exact same photo.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the next, the hoaxer will be posting a video of the Bigfoot stealing the Chewy box off his porch and claiming it as his own.
Yeah.
Man. But yeah, I guess what irritates me the most is he's saying, well, I can't help if people steal from me. So he's turning around and pointing the finger at the people that originally posted that, trying to say it's his.
Wow.
And some of the misdirection he did, and I'll show you some of the misdirection. I mean, I'm trying to get the video, and here it is. You've all these years been looking for Bigfoot, and you've had the same results, just like everyone else, and haven't found nothing but what everyone else has found. Well, Raymond. Well, Mr. Crypto Man or Crapto Man, what have you found? Obviously, nothing but a bunch of stick structures, and some prints that you've stolen off of people. Now, I don't know if there's a couple there that may be his, may not be. I don't know because he's red circled them. But it's kind of funny because in his pictures, he's got different boots on. He's got different tape measures. Obviously, they come from different sources. And I love this. The only time you had any popularity was when you and Rick Dyer were going back and forth. But then, you know, he tells me to, you know, which I thought was funny. You know, he's sitting there saying, I mean, this is what a hypocrite is. So he's trying to say the only time I was ever popular, but then he says, yeah, go ahead, save that video of his and post it. Make me popular too. Well, if I'm not popular, yeah, it's just a blowhard that got caught. So,
oh man.
You know,
well, you know, the thing is, and what's really sad is, this guy is a researcher. Maybe he gets out in the field. I don't know. He could just be somebody who's just playing on the internet. But the point is that after he's done this, now anything he posts, we can't believe it. You can't believe it because it could lie.
Exactly. And this is the article on Fox Carolina. Of the actual article about that, and that was taken by the North Carolina Bigfoot group. You know, and you know, they Jim Chernesky was the one, and there's another gentleman who found it too, Stefan Jago. I reached out to them, but we're not friends on Facebook, and I haven't heard back. But you know,
well, that photo that did not look familiar to me, Steve. I may have seen that at one point, but you know, it didn't stick out in my mind. The New York one did.
Yep.
I don't know about this, no, but I think I've probably seen it, but I can't say for sure.
So, while we're on the topic of stuff, let's talk about let's do our first public announcement for the night. And I just wanted to reach out real quick to everybody. A good friend of mine, many years ago, had worked with him, and you know, he was a researcher in the Oklahoma area at the time. I believe is down in Louisiana, and it's my friend Keith Worley. But anyway, he has got a severely messed up back. He has a GoFundMe page. So please, folks, visit his Facebook page. There's links to that. I will be putting Facebook links up. I will share this page to everybody later on tonight. But anything would be appreciated. They're on tough times. You know, he's got a lot of stenosis going on. He's out of work because he can't work. He also has diabetic issues, but they're kind of under control for right now. So he's got a whole litany of problems and can't works. So any help with him, that would be much appreciated. Great guy, upfront guy with me. So anybody's out there, please, you know, if you can spare $10 for the guy, that would be wonderful. Anything will help at this time. So he's trying to raise $2,500 so he can, you know, pay the rent, you know, keep his stuff, and pay some of his medical bills too. So, give him a shout out. You know, so
well, Keith is a heck of a nice guy, man, and I hate he's going through a rough patch here, but man, I have firsthand experience with that back stuff, and when that gets you down, man, that's it. You're down. You can't.
Well, you know, I mean, I deal with some minor stenosis now and a couple of bulging discs, and man, there's times it bothers me. You know, the numbness I get is unbelievable sometimes if I, you know, jostle myself a certain way. And a lot of folks don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I broke a couple of ribs, or a couple of months ago, I broke a couple of ribs, you know, the end of May. And man, that really messed with my bulging discs. So, got to get back into the gym routine because that was straightening it all out. So, But folks, again, if you can contribute, please give them a shout. I'll be sharing that on the radio show page and on the on the across the social media. So keep an eye out for that. Anything will help, and that would be awesome. So while we're on the public service messages, I want to say this: our former co-host Billy Willard, as you know, owns a company, and apparently this cat here stole a couple of trailers from him. Basically stole an excavator, a mini skid loader, and a couple of skids to haul them about 1:30 a.m. on Ballsford Road in Manassas. So if anybody's out there that lives in the area saw anything, I'm just putting it out there to everybody. They saw anything, the number for the Manassas Police Department is 703-257-8000. So give them a shout. Let them know. Try to catch this cat. We're trying to. Here we are doing America's Most Wanted tonight.
Well, this is pretty cool because that should be pretty easy to, you know.
Yeah, and they use 2 white Ford F-150s. So this cat has probably got himself some kind of pirate business where he's doing excavating and stuff like that. So what a jackass. So
man. Well, crime doesn't pay, and I think you'll eventually find that out.
Yep, I hope the hell so. So that is our public service announcements for the night. Wanted to throw that out there. We'll put Keith's stuff back up in a little bit. But so anyway, I think it's time to get laughing again. So I think what we're gonna do. Let me get the show folder back up. I think I closed it accidentally, so give me 1 second. I can't wait to get the third monitor in here. The third monitor, I can just put this stuff up pretty quick. So let me just get over here. And so anyway, we like to revisit our one topic. This really isn't up for discussion. This is just a little bit of fun and a public service message from #StopTheLunacy. Here we go.
Out squatching, you should be having fun, but you don't want to make Bigfoot mad.
What the hell is that? Holy shit, it's a Bigfoot! He's friggin' hitchhiking! Keep walking, weirdo! Damn! It's a good thing I didn't pick him up, because this creature's got road rage!
Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you call them, they're lovely people and they're big. Don't make them mad. One of the things that we do not do at the is place trail cams, because they can see those. They see them when you put them on. Do you want somebody putting a trail cam in your house? No. So we don't do it in their house. Not like the pictures taken. Spend $300, $500, $1,500 on a trail cam, unless you just want a lot of deer, elk, and raccoons, because that's what you're going to get. And don't try to be sneaky and put a recorder out there. They don't like it, and they know it.
He was like a basketball player mixed with a wrestler, football type size, getting blurry. He started getting fuzzy. I see some antlers starting to evolve. Boom! He turned around, and it gave me a vision of a white deer's tail, too. The wheels jump away from me, trying to make me forget what I seen.
Want to put a recorder out there? That's fine. But announce it. Don't try to trick them. They don't like to be tricked. The chances are you'll get more with your recording. For example.
Hi, forest people. I got a recorder, and I'm going to put it down here. If you don't want it recorded, you could go ahead and turn it off.
I made me forget what I seen.
But please leave it.
animals. These are a type of people.
Hi, forest people.
Holy shit!
Hi, forest people. Forest people.
I thought you'd enjoy that.
That's pretty good. had a few clips in there from one of my favorite YouTube Butchie Kid. Oh man.
You know, and the trail cam picture, the guy in the bra coming out of the woods with his pants under his arms. You know, all you're gonna get is deer and elk. Wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
But I figured we'd have a little fun with that. Yeah. So, all right, back to the regularly scheduled program. Now we've had that message from Stop the Lunacy. Yeah, I mean, what got me, and you know what, I'm not picking on folks, and I'm not trying to be mean about it. I try to have a little fun with some of the stuff they're doing. You know, and you know, I try to do it without insulting them, and that's why I put some parody and some craziness involved around, because it is lunacy. Yeah, forest people, just, you know, you don't want to be recorded, just turn it off. Okay.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Man.
And hey, look who popped in.
Hey, hey, Keith.
It's good to see you, man.
There you go, man.
We'll shop that stuff up. So good to hear from you, brother. So glad you stopped by.
Yep, hang in there, man. Just hang in there. One day at a time, brother.
So, so anyway, some of the stuff we want to talk about tonight. Like I said, there was an article. We'll pull that one up and take a quick gander at it. And, you know, Bigfoot crossing sign tests our gullibility. And that kind of aggravates me a little bit. Just the title of it. Again, this is an opinion column by Barry Fagan, whoever the hell that is. Never heard of the guy. And he talks about the Pikes Peak ascent. And every day on, oops, we'll get rid of that. You know, every day he you know, Saturday mornings, I head out from the toll booth, and he drives it, and I see it, the stupid Bigfoot crossing sign. Well, why don't you tell us how you really feel? Why shout out to unreason and human gullibility? Well, you know, Mr. Fagan, that is very presumptuous of you to say that. You know, which really aggravates me to no heck. You know, but nothing silly as facts. Like what facts? That thousands of people have seen these things over the last 200 years. You know, I mean, he mentions YouTube, big deal. And it's unfortunately for Bigfoot devotees, a decade or so after the sign went up, a friend of the photographers named, talking about the Patterson-Gimlin film, friends of the photographers named Bob Hieronymus confessed to posing for the film in a gorilla suit. Really? Determined independently to be in his possession at that time. What?
No.
When
did this happen?
Yeah, where is that? Reference, please. You know what? It's pretty sad when you lie or misdirect to put your opinion across.
Oh, he's made up his own facts there, Steve. He's made up his own facts. That didn't happen, babe.
Right. So he says, "Oh, let me be clear. You know, I do. You know, that's what good skeptics do. I'll change my mind when the evidence says I should. That's what good skeptics do." Wrong, sir. You're not a good skeptic. Not a good skeptic at all. Because number one, you put a fact in there. Something is fact, which is not. Nobody has independently determined he was in possession of the suit.
Right.
Where's the suit? There isn't one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, that would be the death blow for the Patterson Gimlin film if he had a suit and said, "Yeah, this is it," you know.
But I can use that caveat too. But there are so many Bigfoot believers. Can they all be wrong? In a word, yes. Well, there's so many non-Bigfoot believers too. Can they all be wrong? In a word, yes. So what you said is pedantic. That's what it is. To use a $5 word of the day. You know, so he's a senior fellow. He's an idiot. That's what he is. And I have no qualms about it. He is, again, am I supposed to be impressed that he is a fellow at the Independent Institute in Denver? Am I supposed to be impressed by that? Like his opinion is more important than a person who actually saw one of these things?
Well, that's the thing, Mr.
Fagan.
Fagan, he didn't really do his he didn't do his research. And had he done a little research before he did this article, he might have been better. But
yeah, he's just glamming over things and putting something up for the sake of putting something up.
And again, you know, you take the average person that hasn't done all this backstory and study on Bigfoot and doesn't know, they just take this guy's word for granted. You know, okay, yeah, that's a fact. Okay, he said it. It's fact. And you know, that's really kind of aggravating.
Right, and of course, that's when all the you know, of course, you have all the political BS here too.
Yeah, we don't do politics here. Your wife's a Bigfoot.
That's true. I remember. And Bob Hirano is a friend. Hirano is his friend who claimed he was in the person's suit. Is not a credible witness. He is short, and scientists have verified the height and weight of them. 1712. The suit has been proven impossible to recreate, even now at any cost. It's just too real looking. The film was examined by a team of scientists that verified the content as much as possible. I think that all sightings are fake, but this one is the only one that stood up against all questions. Well, I mean, that's kind of silly too. I still think that he said almost all sightings are fake. I wouldn't say fake, but maybe misidentifications.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you can't really fault the guy that saw a bear standing on its hind legs and thought it was a Bigfoot. You know,
right.
Like that happen. People misidentify stuff. But you know, the thing is, you know, when you go there and you check it out and check out the prints, you say, "Hey, buddy, oh man, this is a bear. See, there's his claws."
And of course, you have all the little trolls chiming in there when they can, of course. But that is that one, so we'll get rid of that one. So yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. That's right.
You know,
Cryptoville says.
Go ahead. Yeah,
it's all fun and games until somebody gets an eye put out. In our case, until a non-believer has an experience, then it's real.
Man, that's well said.
Hello to Ryan. Hello, Ryan. Welcome.
Hey, Ryan.
Aboard.
Yeah, man. And there's nothing wrong with being skeptical. In fact, you know, I always tell everybody, be skeptical. And you know, don't believe it until you say it's fine. You know, we're not asking you to go on faith.
Exactly.
If I didn't believe this thing either until I seen it, and then I was like, oh my God, I wish I hadn't seen that.
Well, you know,
once you get to that, you can't unsee it. You know.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I just you're gonna have people like that, you know, and of course it seems like the people like that always put out a misnomer or something that isn't factually correct, and that's what he did. He put out something that wasn't factually correct. Do people like this ever retract what they say? Hell no.
No.
You know, I've often talked about the ABC Patterson Gimlin with Ray Wallace mix-up. You know, and did they retract it? No. You know, luckily that was, you know, a couple of decades ago. That was in I want to say like the early 2000s, almost a couple of decades ago. But still, you know, just to see something like that, how can you get a story so wrong? Because, you know, the mainstream media now, who used to embrace everything, is the ones that are, you know, now scoffing at it.
Well, you know, it was a good thing when Ray Wallace. I'm not saying it's a good thing that he died. I'm just saying it's a good thing that he was that the stomp were exposed. That lets us go back and match up the fake ones that he did, and we can kind of separate those out from the other ones that he did. And so, you know, that's. I'm sure, you know, Ray did some faking and some hoaxing, and he had a lot of fun out of it, and that's fine if he did that. But you know, I'm not saying it's right. No, he had a lot of fun out of it. But after viewing those stomps, you know, we can look at the cast that was made from some of these places and separate them out. So that's the thing.
And one of our old radio guests, Doug Waller. Hello, Doug.
Hey, Doug. Yeah.
So yeah, you know, and it was only assumed that, you know, Ray Wallace had stomped out some prints. Now I will say this: I believe it was called the Blue Mountain prints, if I'm not mistaken, that John Green had found, and they look suspiciously like the stompers. I hate to say that. They really did. You know, you saw the pictures in the trackway, and the stride didn't look quite right to me either. But you know,
right.
You know,
one of them had a very distinctive long line where I don't know if the stomper had been cracked or it had a dent in it from stepping on a sharp rock or something. But that was pretty. And Steve, I can't remember if it was Blue Mountain or the Onion Mountain print. It was one or the other. But that pretty much summed up those. Those were matched up pretty well to the stomper anyway, and I think so.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, you know, I take it with a grain of salt. And you know what? See, that's what hoaxers and these people that hoax intentionally. That's what they do to the skeptics. They fire the skeptics up. See, there's another hoax. How can any of this be real? And then you have people out there that believe we're all hoaxers because of people like that.
Yeah.
So that really, really aggravates me to no end.
Well, you know, that's the thing. And when I'm talking to somebody about Bigfoot, you know, I'm not interested in trying to convince them that they exist because, you know, hey, that's a decision you're going to have to make on your own. And, you know, if you don't want to, if you get out, you'll never see one. But if you do get out, you have a chance, you know. You might go all your life, out being outdoors and fishing, hiking, camping, and never see one. But then again, hey man, you might see one week. You never know.
Never know. You never know.
But you do got to look. Hey, Sherry. Yeah, that's true, Sherry.
Very true. And as Keith says, the wonderful world of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is. What more can you say about it? You know, that's why, you know, you have these people in the Bigfoot community. They say we should ignore hoaxers, that we only bring attention to them. No, you know what?
No.
Science polices itself, and that's the first thing hoaxers always say. What are you, the Bigfoot police? Well, yeah, I'm trying to police up some of the crap that gets put out there. You know, no wonder they're making fun of us. Oh, Sasquatch is a people. Hi, forest friends. Let's talk and be nice to one another, and you'll get all these results. But don't ask for any scientific evidence because they won't give it to you, except some obscure sounds on a recorder. You know, that's huge. I don't know why people do that.
Well, you know, I don't know. Are people like the habituators type people?
No, but they're friends of the forest people.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Well, I know where that's from. They've been listening to some cassette tapes that they got from somewhere.
Yeah. And then I found that witness, and you know what? A news channel put this guy on that says, oh, you know, there was the Bigfoot, and then bam, it turns into, you know, it starts to antlers start to form, and it turns around, and I see this. He said a white. He said something, a tail white. He meant whitetail. So it sounds like to me he saw a deer. Hence the deer beating the crap out of the hunter. But you know, that's what the media loves. Remember that guy from South Carolina, you know, who looked like, what's the wrestler's name? Bray Wyatt. He kind of looks like Bray Wyatt, the wrestler Bray Wyatt. He's out there. Well, I saw the Bigfoot, and you know, he went after him with a stick, and it's just like, that's what they love to you know, put out there. And
well, oh man, that would be the last thing on my mind is to go towards one with a. If somebody tells me that they saw one of these things and went towards it with a stick, that's a deal breaker right there. Out.
Yep.
I'm sorry, that didn't happen.
Yep. Hey, you know what?
Mm.
I think I just may have found our issue with that little bit of feedback we're getting. We're getting a little bit more. What I think is happening is my rig up here for nope, it's still coming through.
Yeah, I still hear every now and then, but you know, I kind of expect a bug or two every now and then. I guess everybody else does too. We don't expect the show to be perfect. You know, it as long as we can watch videos and stuff and talk about it, man, I mean, I love it.
Yeah. You know what it is? The feedback is coming in from, I'm pretty sure, from the Squatch, the screen feed. Let me just check something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nope, that
Y'all just bear with us, folks.
Yeah, that feedback is still popping away. There is one set of feedback that I think is working on my end. The other set of feedback is the pops are coming from your end. The feedback is coming from the actual device I'm using to loop. And I don't understand why that is exactly doing that, because right now nothing is broadcasting from the computer. So I don't understand why that's doing that, other than you know, but so that little bit of feedback we're getting. Oh, well, that's an easy fix. I can mute that until we play a video or something like that. And right now we're done with the audio portion of our program, so we're good with that for now. But yeah, we're getting a little bit of feedback off one of the devices. I may have to change up the actual way I do the USB for that.
Well, if everybody just bear with us, we'll eventually get it worked out. Maybe next week it'll be better.
Yeah. You know what I am going to do? I don't know if this is going to take me off our show offline. I'm going to switch it real quick. So hang on 1 second, folks.
Well, kind of like a squirrel running in a cage back there. You still with us, Steve?
Yeah, I'm still with you. Yeah,
Okay.
You know what I am going to do? I'm going to mute this and switch this to a different USB slot. See if that works and changes our issue here. So hang on 1 second.
All right. Bad.
We'll try that. We'll try to get rid of this real quick. Okay. How's that, Chris? Hey.
Wow. That
feedback's
sounds better.
Does sound better. Yeah, I think the USB slot got a little worn out, so it was causing a little. Nope, I'm getting
No,
that
I'm still
feedback.
hearing something.
Yeah,
Yeah, daggone it. Okay, I give up.
I give up. Oh, I don't know why we're getting that feedback when I talk. It shouldn't have. Well, that seems to be a little bit better. There we go.
Oh,
Okay, I got
man.
rid of one of the feedbacks. The other feedback, the pops and whistles are coming, I think, from your side.
Okay, I'm gonna have to give me a new headset.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks.
Yeah, that may be picking. Yeah, okay, that feedback, is now stopped on my side, so that's a good thing. And you know what it is? I don't know why it was picking up feedback off of my voice plugged into a USB. And I'm still getting a little bit, but not as much. So I may have to jerry rig something differently next week for it. That's fine. It's very tricky, this whole program, how we have to loop stuff in and okay.
Yeah,
So
I'm noticing. Yeah.
we do have a question. Yeah, we do have a question.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the Freeman film? Looks authentic to me. I'm good question. I like the film. I would like to believe it's real. So I'll leave it at that. I'd like to believe it's real. Does it constitute evidence? No. Do I think it's real? Well, I've watched it enough times, and perhaps.
Well, Tommy, I personally, I would like to know where Paul Freeman's son was when that video was shot. I'd like to know where he was at, and is there evidence that he was somewhere else when they made? But it is a good looking video though. But like vacation, I'm skeptical.
Hey, and by the way, Mike, I did not sign out, so and I'm just watching. Let me just refresh the stream, see if we're still. Oh yeah, we're still kicking around, so we're all good. So
I'm noticing when you get the feedback, it's showing up there on the Squatch-D TV computer. It does the feedback. It pops in over that one.
This is not mine. I don't know what's causing that feedback necessarily.
Yeah.
This is new. Oh wait a minute.
Technical issue, but we'll
hey,
get
wait
it
a
worked
minute.
out.
Did that stop now?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it no more.
There.
No, there.
Well, here's the interesting thing. Here's the interesting thing. That pop was when I wasn't talking, so it's not feedbacking off my voice.
Okay. Well, I just I just noticed that when we talk, you can see the little halo rock around our icons there is kind of moving, and when it does that feedback, I see the little halo around the Squatch-D TVs. And there it goes.
It almost sounds like it's picking up RF frequency.
Yeah. Maybe it's drivers.
I don't know.
Somebody come across breaker 19.
Breaker 19. I see a Bigfoot in the road. We'll call him a hair man right there. Yeah, I have no idea why that's feedbacking like that. Unless, do I have anything? I don't have anything open that could be doing that. So that's.
Well, speaking of Bigfoot, everything's been quiet here in Kentucky here lately. Not heard anything else. So I don't know if they've concluded their investigation over there or not. But they are sure keeping it quiet.
Yeah, you were saying that it seems that there is a bit of movement to really keep it.
Yeah, then the thing is they're still closing down more areas. There's another what's an overnight camping site is been turned into a day site now.
Hey, so, I just heard my friend Mel from Naked and Afraid. She is watching the stream on YouTube. Hello, Mel, if you're out there.
Hey, Mel. Welcome.
So, okay, Chris, you need to hold your head a little bit to the left.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. So I have no idea what. So anyway, let's look at the alleged best Sasquatch video ever. We're going to just stream it from the website they have. I'll pop that up. We'll put that over there.
All right.
And people in awe. Well, I don't know if much of us are in awe about it. So here's the video. We're going to just stream it right here like that. Well, that was kind of short.
That was it?
Nah, something's up. There we go. We're going to back that up just a little bit for everybody again. Start it over. We're almost over with here. What the hell he just said? So what are your thoughts, Mr. Bennett?
Already, I got a problem with it.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. And this is the beauty of what we do here.
Because I'm looking at, I think has a neck. Has he got a full screen icon?
There is not.
Dang.
Wish I could get rid of this thing here.
Yeah.
Let me back that up a little bit. Really?
I think I'm getting a neck in there. Yeah.
So I don't know. I would like to know a lot more about the background to this video.
Yeah.
I would like to see an investigation of the actual spot where it was, some pictures and follow-up pictures from when it's not there.
Yeah. Well, he looks like he's out in the middle of the water, and he's right
pretty
up
close.
on the,
He's pretty close.
Yeah.
Oops.
Because at one point he takes a stick and splashes into the water.
Well, one thing that I find interesting, and unfortunately this comes up but there seems to be a little differentiation in hair rear here. This looks a little worn, so I'm not quite sure what we're looking at. So it does look interesting. There seems to be a little more pronounced neck than we're used to, but I've never seen one of these things really for too long.
Well, this is supposed to be this is supposed to be the Florida deal too, Florida skunk ape. So they may be built a little
now
different.
It stands up. Now see, this is where I have the problem right here. Back it up a little bit. When it stands up,
right,
it looks kind of flat-shouldered to me. You see, almost like the shoulders are built up.
It's a pretty good straight line there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what really has got me.
Yeah.
See if we can't blow that up a little bit. Nope, that ain't gonna work that much. This was something last minute, so
that's pretty interesting. It is, but there's the shoulder thing too. That's a couple of things that's got me. But it's interesting. I just wish you could have zoomed it in a little bit.
Tommy, if you have a link, throw that in the chat. If you can find that, Tommy, throw that link up in the chat. We'll put that up on the screen. We have that ability now. So that's the beautiful thing about this.
Might be able to get it stabilized too. Maybe stabilize it sometime during this week and show it again or look at it again.
Now, Keith says that the person is way too close. And that very well could be.
Yeah.
But as far as the his name is Josh Highcliffe. And that's good to know. So I like how the media loves putting on there, has 3.7, I don't know, views. I think they meant 1,000 views and 2,600 likes. He said to a news website, the creature was at least 7 feet tall, and he ran away in fear as soon as it stood up. When it stood up, I could not control myself and ran. That stump was huge, and I guess that sucker was 7 feet tall. So maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll get him on the show just to see if he can.
Well,
I thought that was Melba Ketchum there for a second.
That's what I thought too. I thought that was Melba. But that is an interesting video, Steve, and I'm going to look into that some more.
Yeah, I've seen enhancements and enlargements where it appears the subject is wearing a backpack with a tag on it. Okay, I'd like to see that, obviously. If it's a suit, very muscular and tight-fitting. I agree. So, if you guys have links to any of that stuff, the beauty of this, I don't know if we can actually see that on our chat, but I'd like to, if somebody would post a link in the chat to anything except Pornhub, just put it up there and we can see if we can actually get a link in the chat. That would be flipping awesome.
Well, that straight line running across the shoulders is kind of throws me off too, Steve.
A little bit, but then again, we're talking about pixelation. We're talking right, but we're talking about pixelation, distance. It could be optics of the case, but that's why I always like to get the real background of the story. Of what's going on. So
that is definitely worth investigating. I would, gotcha. I wish I was around local and.
Well, I don't think that's anything I don't think it's anything recent either. I think it was in 2015, actually. If I had seen some talking about it on the web, and it may be an older one,
Yeah.
and now the media is finally just trying to pick it up. So I think that's part
kind of, yeah, that causes a problem too. You can't go to the area, you know, right after this happened and verify anything. Dang it. But it looked good. It really did. It looked really good. There's a couple of problems I have with it, but you know, that this is just looking at rough footage. You know, once that's cleared up, clean, and see what's going on. But
yeah,
you know, I don't know if that's the best Bigfoot video that ever has been seen, though. I mean, I'll tell you what, that Patterson Gimlin is hard to, you know, whether you think it's real or you think it's a hoax. That's pretty dang good.
There we go, folks, boys and girls. While Chris is talking, now we can take a look at the stabilized footage a bit.
This almost looks from a different angle.
Kind of. That may not be. Is that the same one? I don't think it's the same one.
No, it's not.
That one's interesting.
No, it was.
Oops. I almost. Oh, what the heck is that?
I
Goodbye.
don't know. We're going to talk about. You want to talk about decorating? I guess that was a cake. I'm not certain.
I don't know why the follow-up videos to that. You know, and folk wants to talk about the Freeman footage.
Yeah.
Let me. We'll call that right up there. Hang on. Hang on a sec. We'll get that. If people want to talk about the freedom, that's the beautiful of this thing is we can.
Well, yeah, that's you know, I've always liked the Freeman footage. You know, I just had one question. You know, we need to know where everybody was when this was made.
Yep. Well, his son wasn't with him. He was by himself, allegedly. So.
Yeah.
And not the greatest version, but
yeah.
Hey, what do you want?
Oh, yeah, this was shot with VHS too. You know, so that's pretty good step back in time there. Which it would probably been actually it would have been better if it had filmed it with like a high 8 or like with Patterson Gimlin on film. That would have been better. Bill Munns did those scans of each frame of the Patterson Gimlin film.
Well, you know what it is. The videos we have. The reason why they're so pixelated is these are videos people have gotten off that. But you know what we'll do is we'll folks want to talk about the Freeman footage. We can pull that up. Maybe we'll talk about that next week a little bit too.
Yeah.
So
that's fun. I like to get into those a little bit. Cake time, yeah.
So, yeah, my hairy Asian brother. So, yeah, so you know that was kind of cool. Let's pop on over to this article. This is a pretty interesting article that came across my thing. It's by a person, and if I get these pop-ups to stop, Canadian writer had an obsession with, really? Okay, thank you. Game of Thrones. Well, anyway, he's talking about an obsession with Bigfoot stories as a child. And he traveled to the Great Bear Rainforest in British Columbia, site of many sightings and legends over the years. And he talks about going in it, and he says, I've reached the supposed ground zero of Bigfoot, the The waking version of the lofty wilderness of my daydreams as a kid. It's hard to downplay the links and associations with the Sasquatch here, because for the idea of looking for the physical animal is tough to resist. For in a real sense, Bella Coola is Bigfoot. For Sasquatch enthusiasts, the town's very name, it contours of sound evokes the creature's spirit, whereas Bigfoot are said to have appeared occasionally in neighboring communities. They are omnipresent here, constantly fitting between hidden recesses and blind spots. Residents allege the animals are bolder here than anywhere else on the coast, so much that they'll walk through your front yard if need be. The reports span the length of Bella Coola Valley and all adjoining creeks and river systems. Ask around and you'll hear incidents of every variety involving howls, whoops, screams, loud crashing in the bush, and road crossings. Figures standing or crouching in the open at night, peeping into windows, banging on houses, rock throwing, stick throwing, and wood knocking, and putrid lingering odors and tracks in the mud or snow. Some reports are just weeks old. Others have been circulating for more than half a century. So he talks about some of that, and there, of course, there's a nice picture of the area. And he talks about his digging, and really what it comes down to, he meets an investigator by the name of Warren Mack, and he shows him his cast collection. One of them looks like the Patterson recast, but I don't know, it could be.
It does.
And then he says, keep in mind, and this is what Mr. Mack says, we have at least two different creatures here according to our traditions. You have the sninnik. It's tall and pale looking with clammy skin and thin patches of fur. It crouches in the bushes with its knees coming up as high as its head. It makes whooping noises. Then you have the box. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. You're darker and much smaller, child-sized. They are more tricky and dangerous. They are screamers. So it's another reference to the little people of the, I don't even know how to pronounce that one, and the Buckwis, and the little woodsmen of the Heiltsuk tradition. But neither of those, I say, accurately describes the classic Sasquatch, the big and tall, often dark, hairy animal most often describes. But here's a take on that real quick. Here's a take on that real quick, is that perhaps those legends or those traditions are what, you know, people have seen over the years. And, you know, they've seen a Sasquatch, maybe a little one or something, or maybe one that's sickly or whatnot. And that builds the legend up. I don't know. I'm just, you know, just pondering, which is the beautiful thing we can do here.
Yeah.
He's very interesting story, the Bella Coola box. So,
well, you know, they got all kinds, all shapes and sizes of foot, even colors. You know, you got them red, black, white, gray, brown, and body type is something that's different. I mean, too, you know, from anywhere from like an infant size, toddler size, up to the full-grown big boy, 8 plus 9 feet tall, you know, maybe 10.
Yep. Here's an interesting thing too, is when he talks about another researcher who says, well, have you found anything? And he was like, well, not a track, not a hair, nothing. He hasn't even gotten a foot track. So now he's kind of reflecting, you know, exist versus don't exist. And then he's, you know, he says, I allow myself to think about Bigfoots in a more symbolic and philosophical way. And though I've considered psychology in the hope that it would illuminate either proof or disproof of the creature, I still feel there's an aspect of our behavior that's unexamined, having to do with our need to plumb the depths of the unknown. What is the deepest intent of Bigfoot hunters and investigators? What is my own? Life is full of unknowns that preoccupy us. We constantly grapple with things we don't know or can't see, the blank spots on our conceptual and literal maps. What if anything lies around the next corner, past the edge of the invisible universe, beyond tomorrow after death. For the literal questions, we often do our best to actually, directly or indirectly see for ourselves. Explorers fling themselves into little-known regions, scientists conduct experiments, companies and governments employ analysts, consultants, spies. Individually, we might take our question to a private investigator, hey, that's me, or a psychic. When we answer a psychic,
Yeah.
when we answer, when an answer is particularly elusive, we make do with guesses. We use our imagination. We concoct hypotheses and stories that jibe with our worldview. That may explain the lunacy. We create placeholders until we know for sure. In answering more existential questions, philosophical systems, including religions and cultural cosmologies, fulfill a similar function. They're connectors, bridges to little understood or unknowable aspects of life. So, and he talks about some more stuff. I mean, it's a very deep article. It talks about cultural, religious beliefs, cultural expressions, and the Sasquatch may find its deepest function and appeal in First Nations cultures, the creatures associated with Bigfoot, even if they are flesh and blood animals, are imbued with religious and supernatural significance. Like prophets, holy people, or saints, these creatures, auspicious in the extreme, appear to deliver messages, herald events, impart lessons, or dole out justice in the cause of cosmic equilibrium. Kind of like the Mothman, if you think about it.
Yeah.
People started seeing the Mothman around Point Pleasant, and then the bridge collapsed. So they all thought it was the harbinger of somebody, bringing things in. Though Sasquatches on one level embody a kind of primitivism, the backward and uncivilized qualities that make them characters in bad horror films and goofy commercials, the creatures are gifted with a slate of talents that place them on a level above humans. Profound physical strength and endurance, unfathomable stealth and speed. This is where I have a problem with. Ability to disappear at will. Hypnotic and fear-inducing projections of gaze and voice. A hyper-symbiotic relationship with nature. Well, let's look at those five. Let's look at those 5 things. Profound physical strength and endurance. Well, hell, a chimpanzee has the strength of 10 adult males, and they're smaller than us. Unfathomable stealth and speed. Well, of course, look at their size. Look at their strides, and they're bipedal. Ability to appear and disappear at will. Well, maybe in some Native American legends, maybe in some of, again,
I think that's a misconception there. I think, I don't think they're like zapping through a wormhole. I think that's just because it took 3 steps and they didn't see it anymore. That's probably more likely what it is.
You know what? Yep, that is not showing up as a link in our chat, so that's not going to work out too well. Mr. Celtic put a YouTube share on the chat. So let me see if I can pop that up on another.
Okay. Hypnotic and fear-inducing projections of gaze and voice. Well, that could be tied back to the infrasound theory. But, I think anybody that sees one of these things is going to have some fear. If they don't have fear, there's something wrong with them. That's unnatural.
Oh, he popped that over on YouTube. Let me pop that over to YouTube real quick.
A hyper-symbiotic relationship with nature. Okay, yeah. Well, of course they live in nature.
Sure do. Well, yeah. I mean that a hyper-symbiotic. In other words, all it means is a more advanced relationship with nature. Well, doesn't any animal have a hyper? Oh, for crying out loud! I'm on the wrong account. Because I have another YouTube account.
Well, I mean, man has a symbiotic relationship with nature, and we did have. We could have again, we went back, we got out of the cities, went back to nature. We could do it all again. course, there would be mass die-offs. but I think we'd eventually get it back right again.
Here's the interesting thing. I'm not seeing any of the chat on YouTube. Oh, no, hang on. I found it.
Yeah, we've become a pretty civilized society there. You know, we don't really go in the woods anymore. And matter of fact, it's got so bad now that, and I hate this, but every year I'm always looking. You can always find somebody has died when they were out looking Christmas tree or something. Usually around November, December, died from exposure. And they were like 300 yards from their car, or maybe a mile away from their car. And it's horrible, but you know, that's just the way things are.
Exactly. Hypnotic and fear-inducing projections of gaze and voice. Well, we've talked about that scientifically. That can be something as a result of infrasound.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and that was a Stan Courtney idea. So, the Sasquatch enthusiast, hunter, or scientist, and we do have that link. We're going to be going back to our Florida skunk ape when we're done with this talk, so it gives us some more stuff to cover here. Let me just kill that one there. Well, I'm going to keep that up actually. So anyway, the Sasquatch enthusiast, hunter, or scientist will give any number of logical motives as his or her excuse for pursuing the animal, and those may be true. But anyone hooked on Bigfoot is almost surely drawn as well to the phenomenology and magical mystery surrounding the alleged creatures. We could even call this impulse religious, not in the conventional meaning of the word, but more in the purse sense of having a reverential relationship and attitude to something sacred, set apart, or forbidden. Well, let's think about that, Chris. Think of the forest people.
Yeah.
Seems like he's hanging around with the forest people, the people who, the people that are with them and their forest friends. They look with him with reverence. Let's talk about Zorth and the Council of 12 with the special ambassador, Matt Johnson.
Yeah, that's not really. That's not really. I don't share that view. I mean, yeah, I think they may have a society of their own, but to me, I don't think they're much more than animals. They're very smart, but I don't think there's anything reverent about them, and I don't think they're.
I think there's a reverence. To me, there is a reverence to the research.
Yeah,
I think that I hold the history of this kind of in reverence, whether it's good, bad, or ugly.
Mm-hmm.
You got to hold it in reverence. There are certain hash marks in the history and the timeline, and there's some that will be forgotten over time. Unless you're a traditionalist historian like myself, like the man from wherever he is now, that 11 years ago launched a Bigfoot body hoax.
Yeah.
He will be forgotten. He will be forgotten. He doesn't understand that because he isn't the first one to do that. He won't be the last one to do that.
Yeah.
But I do know the first person who did that. I do know their name, and they're a footnote in a book. Just a footnote. And that was a person by the name of Frank Curlow. And he said he had a Bigfoot body, and he tried to get Renee DeHinden and John Green and Roger Patterson even at the time all involved in it. So, and it turned out to be, wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. Well, there's always going to be those guys, that try to catch a few headlines. Oh, I've got this, I've got that. And every now and then you can even watch on some of the, there's some YouTube. Of course, you can see anything on YouTube. But there's some videos of guys. Yeah, I've got a Bigfoot body. My father gave it to me. Blah blah. It was in the freezer. And Then he starts showing these body pieces that are like obviously homemade.
You know what? If somebody caps one or clips one or finds one dead, you know, let's face it, they're not going to be talking about it. They're going to be showing it.
Yeah.
The proof is in the pudding. They want to monetize it, you got to show it. End story. You know, if they think they've hit the that's what I've come to learn over these years.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, here back in the 90s, here in Kentucky, there were a couple of guys that claimed to have shot one, and it was up in the Mumfordville area near River once again, but now we're talking, you know, about 16, 18 miles upriver from where this latest sighting was occurred. But this was back in the 90s, and their story, they didn't go to the press or anything, and what was really kind of odd is they came to this guy that I knew, he was a good friend of mine, because he had a winch truck. Now, a winch truck is a truck that's got like a cable and a boom on the back, and they hired him to go out there and wish this body out of the woods that they had gotten. And when they got her, the body was gone.
Of course.
There was obvious drag marks and everything, but they paid him to go out there. And I got to talk to him about it afterwards. Well, yeah, you could see something had been shot and had been there, but it was gone, and there were drag marks, but you know, who knows where it went to,
or who knows what it was.
Yeah.
Who knows what it was. You know, I look at it from another aspect as well. That every time, let's face it, if you're going to talk about it, you're going to have the proof in hand. You're not going to say we're going to reveal it in a month. You're not going to say that because you know what? Let's face it. You're either one going to get one and you're going to take it and announce it right away with it sitting there, or two, you're going to take it and study it and examine it and then have all your data in a binder and then you're going to present it. But you're going to keep your mouth shut until that time.
Yeah. And the main thing too is if you're out there in the woods, I can't stress this enough, and everybody listening to the sound of my voice, please keep this in mind. If you're out walking in the woods and one day, lo and behold, you trip over a Bigfoot body. There it is. It's laying there. It's dead. It's in the woods. There it is. You found a body. Okay, don't go home and make arrangements to get that body out of there. First thing you cut off a piece of that body and you take it with you. You keep a piece of it with you. Whatever piece you can cut, separate, you get with you. And then you can make arrangements to go back and get the rest. But do not leave there without a piece of that body.
Truth. Very truth. Oh, yeah. Well, Peter Kane is a satirist, so I won't worry about Peter Kane, all that. So there's also some other comments too. You know, we talk about that. We talk about the guys that allegedly shot the Bigfoot in Texas, the two brothers or whatever. They were, and the guy who said he shot one too that was glommed on by you know who. And then there was the injured one in 2005 in Stagecoach, Nevada. You know, and you know who, you know, glommed onto that one.
Right.
So there is a number of stuff that has been, and of course, you know, aside from the other guy that we clearly, and when he tried to make a comeback in 2012, clearly we all called him out on it right away. How about this guy, Justin Smeha? You know.
The bear killer.
That was a little more. That was a little more of a coordinated effort, I think.
Yeah, it was.
And exactly the machinations behind that, we may never know. We may never know what exactly transpired behind the scenes there. You know, I think that it was an orchestrated deal, and I think some legitimate researchers got hauled into it purposely. And given a really good dog and pony show. But you know, it's kind of funny.
Well,
What I think happened is remember that evidence was supposed to be the centerpiece of the Ketchum project.
right.
And then that's why Smeha got all snippety with Dr. Ketchum, because he knew he did not have
Right.
Sasquatch DNA.
Yeah.
And that may have been, who knows, that may have been, who knows, that may have been all perpetrated to, that may have all been perpetrated to discredit the Ketchum project. I don't know. I don't know. But Dr. Melba did a fine job of discrediting that on her own. So
Winston was on the show, and he actually, if you remember, he made the announcement that was on Squatch Detective Radio way back when, and he told his story to us. And I asked him a question, and it's available. It may still be available in the archives. I don't know if they've been lost or not, but if it is, you know, I suggest you go back and listen to it. But Justin said that he held this creature's arms, the baby one, and I asked him what it looked like in its face, and it looked like a boxer dog. Well, as soon as he told me that, I knew something was up. Because I've seen them in the face. I know what they look like. I'm not going to tell anybody what they look like in the face, but I've seen them in the face. What? And I will say they do not look like a boxer dog.
Wait. Hold. We got some very interesting comments from Ken saying, I know the true story.
Oh.
Erickson Project buddy, my buddy Dennis, maybe. Yeah, we know Melba did the DNA on that, and I didn't know what were twins. The bears were twins because there was no, and an older one. No, Smeha never shot a Sasquatch. There was no evidence. There was no body. There was no DNA. Even the blood on the boots got tested. It was nothing. It was that. And Melba was trying to make it a big thing, and the fact was that it was not bear DNA. It was bear DNA.
It was bear.
And I said from the beginning of that, I talked with Dr. Ketchum way before this thing even got published, and she did not seem like a scientist to me. She seemed like she had an agenda. She seemed like she was being very coy about things, and I kind of attributed that to well, maybe she's sitting on something. But as it turns out, you know, she made the big announcements. Oh, we got published, but she bought the journal and didn't disclose that first. So that leaves everything to suspect to me. You know. Well, anyway, let's hop on back to our. Well, you know, and Ken said, well, he said he saw two small ones and an older one. Just his story, but you're right, bear, absolutely. And if you understand, I would suggest Ken listen to his story as told on the $1 million Bigfoot bounty, which was completely different than the story he had been telling. So anyway, this is the video.
See, that's the thing. He claimed that the blood on his boots was from the baby Bigfoot, and it's tested, and it came back bear.
Yep.
So you know that completely blows that story out of the water. The facts don't jive with the story. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
So
I think a lot of people wanted to believe it, you know, and I didn't really like. If he did, that would have been a good way to prove it, but he didn't.
So we are watching this video from Sasquatch Central on YouTube. We're streaming that off of theirs. And I believe Sasquatch Central may be MK Davis. Maybe. So that kind of got me kind of wishy-washy there because MK has been really easy on evidence lately. Not hard on evidence. So here's the, let's just play it out and see what it says. So apparently, this is his story behind the whole taping.
There goes water flash.
So, folks, for us joining, we are watching the Skunk Ape video that has been recently shown around the media and claiming as the greatest Bigfoot footage ever since the Patterson-Gimlin film. And of course, we have some questions about it ourselves. And you see now the markings. I'm going to stop that for a quick second. The markings that I thought were rare on the Bigfoot, now that we've kind of got a better grade of it and a full screen version, that's actually foliage. Because we just saw it stand up and the markings moved.
Yeah.
So let me scroll that back a little bit. See it standing up?
Yeah.
Hang on, well, we'll stop that right when it stands up again. Right there. So I take that back. It doesn't look like wear at all. To me, that looks costume-like. Maybe a gorilla costume because of the head. But the one thing about gorilla costumes, if you don't know, especially the ones you buy off the shelf, you know, they have the conical head, but they don't have the shoulders. They don't have that. You know, remember looking at the back of Patty from the Patterson-Gimlin film, that, you know, you don't have that, you know, that striation of muscle there.
Right.
So, oh yeah, and that, you know what, the stand up there. I'm gonna mute the video for a quick second here. Sorry about that, making me seasick here. That stand up there, when it stands up, you'll see it in a second. That really looks kind of bad to me right there. That to me doesn't look form fitting at all. That to me looks like a costume. I see no muscularity in it. I see, you know, I see what looks like, pardon the French, it looks like the ass end of the old Ivan Marks Bigfoot. You know, so that's what I'm seeing there.
And
you know,
I'm seeing some scrawny legs there.
Yeah.
Legs.
I'm not seeing any muscularity. I'm seeing what right in here, what may be some blousing going on, which is where, you know, if you're leaning forward, you're going to have a little blousing in there.
Right.
I don't see any muscularity in the back. And then he moves. Let's see if we get more. Well, we're going to get more video here in a second.
Yeah, that would be a good time to cut the video short.
And proportion. Go back to 150. We'll go back. We're going to go back to 150 in a minute. So, right there. Okay, there it is. What the heck is that?
I don't know. Is that a leaf or a price tag? What is
It could be, you know, see, that's the thing. We could turn around here and say, well, that looks like a price tag. Well, it could be, but it could be a leaf. It could be a piece of tape. It could be a sticker. You know, I don't know. Could be a hole in the costume. We don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
So, I think it does move though, doesn't it? No, it's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might be a hole.
I'm thinking it's a hole.
It might be a hole.
I'm thinking it's a hole.
Dude had a white T-shirt on underneath.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know, if it was
okay, so if you watch
leaning
this
with
video,
its back.
okay, so you see the creature ripping off bark and throwing into the water. Obviously, that makes it a
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, that makes it.
I mean, sure.
Any other go?
Okay.
Really?
Well, to me, the phone video was a lot clearer. This video
Okay.
has been the pixels like lowered.
Hang on a second. Now you see the statement. Go ahead, Chris. Make some more commentary. I want to. I'm going to bring something up real quick.
Well, I was just saying the
Chris, you there?
cell phone video. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
The cell phone video was a lot clearer. I guess it's probably just where it was zoomed in when he kind of stabilized it, and it more pixelated. But
okay, so
I don't know. I don't like that white
hold on
spot.
a second. Okay, so in my honest opinion, I don't think a hoaxer would be in a costume, would be sitting around in the water. What did I just show y'all?
Well, yeah.
What did I just show y'all? Because
yeah. Well, he's looked like to me he was out
look, I'll show you something on this video.
on a tree. Oh yeah, I see. I see
It's
a
a
gorilla
boot.
mask.
It's a boot.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, so that you know, I don't understand the reasoning of some people that so desperately want to validate that. Oh, see that one? That was even better. But if you can't see that, there is a boot.
Yeah, yeah. There's no hair on that at all.
No, it's a boot, and it's blouse.
Yeah.
You know, it's a right. So, right. So, in my opinion, I don't think a hoaxer costume would be sitting around in the water. Yeah. Okay. But let's go back to 150, as our good friend Celtic, Mr. Celtic said. Right there. As the right arm comes up. Watch, here we go. So we're watching. Yeah, that's a hole. That's a hole in the suit right there.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Had it been a leaf, you know, wouldn't it have fallen off when he?
Yeah. That well, if you notice, it gets bigger, and of course, when it's down there on the ground, it's small. But as he stretches that left arm, it opens up.
Yeah, exactly. That's a hole. His Bigfoot costume has a hole in it.
I think his Bigfoot video has a hole in it. Well, I think, Chris, we have beat up some things enough tonight. I really do.
Yeah.
Well,
I liked the video. I mean, you know, it looks good and everything, but you know, there's a few problems with it, and there's the version where it's kind of zoomed in a little bit and stabilized a little bit. You get to see those are really skinny legs, really. I mean, of course, now this is a skunk ape, so I'm out of my element a little bit here. You know, I don't know what a skunk ape would look like. I know what these things look like, and they're all different shapes and sizes. and a juvenile skunk ape or something. But if it is, he's got a hole in his costume that he's wearing on top of his fur.
Yeah. You know, tag or not, at that distance, you're not going to see a tag, but that hole is clear as day. That when he kind of moves his left arm or the arm comes up,
Right.
you can see where the tear in the costume is. And what he probably
opens
did was,
up.
well, you know what it is, Chris? Is
what
that
you think?
is that they got a very, very tight-fitting costume in an attempt to make it look authentic. And in the process of doing their little game, it busted at the seam, and that's what you're seeing. When it's down there, it's arm, but the minute it extends the arm, that hole opens up. It's wearing a white T-shirt or maybe a gray T-shirt underneath that. Gave it away.
Or it could, or it could be shoulder pads, plastic poked through the suit.
Could be, yeah. It could be a padding of the suit, but there's definitely a hole in that suit somewhere. So,
you know, if the guy has shoulder pads on, and we're talking just regular football, high school shoulder pads, they have a lot of plaque in those things, and they would. I think those suits are made. Are they made out of something called dynel? I remember. We had Bill Munns on it. Bill Munn's been on several times, and I don't think there's anybody more knowledgeable about suits and stuff in the materials. And I'm not certain I think he called it dynel, and I'm not certain if that's what they come out of now or not. But it's probably a little bit thin. But had they purchased a tight-fitting outfit and they put some sort of padding or maybe even football shoulder pads up, but to me it looks like it's kind of, there's a neck there. I'm seeing a neck, and you pointed out that straight line across the back. Now I'm still seeing that. But I don't think the spot is foliage. I don't think it's foliage. I believe that is a hole, Steve.
No, Chris. What I'm
still
saying
there?
is, yeah. I'm sorry, I was muted. I agree. The real telltale sign is the hole in the suit. There is the wearing that I had mentioned earlier. I thought was the foliage, but when it stands up, you can see as it moves that left arm, that hole gets bigger.
Right.
And to me,
had it been a leaf, wouldn't it? It would have fell off. And it would have changed size.
It wouldn't have changed. Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't have changed size. That says it all right there to me.
I'm having trouble understanding. Please try a little later.
So hopefully,
does Google or Alexa listen to you?
Well, apparently Alexa just quit on me. There she goes again. Because I mentioned her.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I love it. We've got the Alexa at the house, and then we've got the Google Home Minis, and me and the wife will be having a conversation in the kitchen, and then the Google Home gal will just pop up and say, "Sorry, I don't understand. I can't help you with that." I'm like, "Well, okay, quit listening to our conversation, please."
Yeah.
Nobody called on her.
Yeah. So amazing, amazing stuff.
But that
today.
was
so.
That's a cool video. It was.
Well, Chris, before we go tonight, I just want to throw Keith's information out there again. Like I said, if anybody can flip this poor guy $5-10, please do so. His GoFundMe page, you can find it. Just Google GoFundMe. Any help would greatly be appreciated. And you can Google his name on GoFundMe as well, and it should come up. His name is Keith Worley, W-O-R-L-E-Y. Let's help this poor guy out. He's got a goal of $2,500. Let's see if we can't shoot for about $1,000 more. I think we can make it happen. So I hope it does. Like I said, every little bit helps. So, Chris, I guess that's our show for this week.
Well, I enjoyed these videos. Man, I really did.
Yeah, there is a whole internet full of stuff that we can refer to and dissect. And of course, we always take we try to get the newest stuff or the stuff that's being put out there in the mainstream during the week. And that was a lot of fun. And it's been.
I think I'm still going to look into that video that we watched a little earlier. But do some more. I don't want to bring their hammer down on it all at once. But it looks good, but there are some problems in there. And boy, I tell you what, that one that looks like a hole is a big problem.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Big problem. Big problem. Huge problem. Huge. So huge. But folks, we'll of course be back next Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. I don't think anything's going on next week. Nope. Guess what? Last show of August, folks. We're into September next week. It's Memorial. It's Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, we're not up against Game of Thrones anymore.
Nope.
So, speaking of which, how about that last episode? Did you see the last episode?
I sure did.
Man, I didn't like it.
I did. I did.
You liked it?
I liked it.
I didn't like it.
I liked it. I mean, there was, how'd you expect it to go out? I mean,
yeah.
The story is what it is. We didn't write it. And
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's their story, not ours. I mean, it's the author. It's the author the way they wanted to turn it around and end the story. And people complain because it didn't end like with a bang.
Yeah.
But they wanted to close out everybody's story. And that's what they did.
Well, they did. They shut it down.
I guess the only surprising thing is that all the action occurred in the next to last episode, not the last episode. The 2 episodes before that, the fight with the Frost King, phenomenal, and then the whole seeing her break down and turn the dragon on innocent people. It was very interesting. But then the last episode was kind of, melancholy a bit. So,
well, to me, everything was good up until the last episode, and then I was like, oh man, I would have referred it a little bit different, but that's okay. Old Jon Snow's back up there in the sun again.
Yeah. But it's kind of funny when I look about that is that Jon Snow became basically like the King of the North. He of the not the North, but the the Outlands there. He became the guy they went to. He
was King of so black anyway.
Yeah.
Above the wall.
Exactly, above the wall. He's king of above the wall, and his sister was king of the North or queen of the North.
Queen, yeah.
And the other, so you think about it, they ruled the entire kingdom, all 3 kids that were remaining.
Yeah. I like that part.
And she went off and went to discover what's her name. She went off to discover uncharted areas. So they
Arya.
Arya. Yeah. So think about it. The 3 that were there that were not the unsettled souls, they all ended up ruling their own places. So.
Oh yeah, I could see where they were going with it.
Huh?
I just really didn't want it to end. I guess like everybody else. I enjoyed that.
Yep.
I had a lot of binge watching to get caught up with that.
Yeah,
man, we're sitting here.
Myself as well.
We're going to run past 11 o'clock.
Oh my goodness, it's 10:56. Okay, folks. Well, want to throw out there, everybody, have a great week. Be safe. We'll be back here next Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Squatch-D SquatchDetective.com, Facebook.com in all 3 places. YouTube.com/Steve Kulls, Twitter.com/SquatchDET, Squatch-Det. Yep, we'll catch you all next week. We are streaming on more places. We're also on twitch.tv/Squatch Detective as well. So we're all over the place now, and trying to reach as many people as possible, putting out the real truth about this mystery, not some BS that some people want you to think. So, all right, folks. Again, have a great week. Be safe. We'll catch you all next week. God bless. And, of course, keep on squatching. Peace out, folks.